We review it Wednesday.
Introducing your hosts.
I know there's been a lot of speculation of whether or not I am Matt Logan. And yes, I am Matt Logan.
I'm Tyler. Tyler Peterson.
Slugheads.
I'll be right back.
Where you going?
Well, I have to go to the cellar,
Oh, you're gonna grab a
and
beer?
go get stabbed,
Oh,
7 million times.
and survive.
Because that's just how the night's going. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, will you be right back?
Apparently, to the rules, they said that you couldn't do it, but every time it does, the person survives.
Ooh. Yeah.
There was a foreshadow on this one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we gonna talk about? I have no idea. This is weird, man. It's a weird intro.
My dramas. Or my dramas. My documentary films. AKA Scream, the requel, number 5.
Number 5. Yeah.
They keep releasing them. It is the wonderful time to not come up with great ideas and just go back to the old franchises.
The first thing that I thought of when I heard this was coming out was these actors are hurting.
Yeah.
The producer, everybody's just like, we need to make a little money.
Yeah, let's just go
Yeah.
back to the town and shoot some scenes and put it together.
Right. So film 4 did terrible.
I never watched it.
I haven't either, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. I've watched the first 3.
Okay.
And 5, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Right. The question is did you really need to watch 5? I mean, you could probably watch the trailer and, get it.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
The truth is I had a large part of it figured out pretty much right away.
Well,
There was a couple things that didn't add up, and we'll talk about that later.
yeah.
But I was like, yeah, that seems...
Well, it's like all the reboots that I feel like have been happening with Ghostbusters, Force Awakens. It's almost a spot-for-spot copy of the original.
Yeah.
I mean, this one doesn't take itself as seriously because, again, it pokes fun at itself. But,
Right.
again, it's a basic retelling of the first movie.
Yeah, it is. With some legacy characters.
Legacies.
Yeah.
Because you have to have your legacy characters when you're rebooting a franchise.
You do.
That's right. What do they call the movies? Oh, Stab. They called the movies Stab.
Stab.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah. The thing for me is David Arquette. I mean, what has he done?
I have no idea.
I mean, he hasn't done anything in years that I know of.
Yeah.
That I've seen. I mean, we
think
could
he's a
probably
sheriff.
look it up, but exactly. I think he retired
I think
after
so,
they
too.
asked him to, right?
Too much emotional trauma.
Right, and the thing, with it too is, for me, I wanted to watch it, wanted to do the review,
Yeah.
because of the original that we talked about on the other podcast. The thing, after seeing it now, though, it's I wonder how did it do 121 million in the box office?
It's pretty crazy.
I'm like, is this all new, completely new fans?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's crazy to me.
I thought this would have been 10 million. I really didn't think it would do very well.
Oh, really?
I really didn't think it'd do very well, especially after seeing it. I was like, how did this do so well?
Well, I'll be honest. I got a few jump scares on this one.
Sure.
It scared me. I don't know. I thought it was really funny.
Oh yeah, there was.
I thought it was
plenty of
very
funny
entertaining.
things. Yeah.
So I mean, again, Scream is a weird franchise, I think. again, my experience is only being from watching the first film once and this one once, and I'm very content with that.
Yeah.
Again, they're weird movies.
Yeah.
Not what I was expecting when I was first watching them.
Yeah, and I can see that because how close together did you watch them?
I think it was a day.
A day, okay.
And I watched both of them by myself. Not to make I'm all by myself. Well, and again, I think that helped with suspense. But I don't like horror films. My wife hates horror films more than I do.
Okay.
And so then I end up watching them by
because
myself.
I push you.
And in the theater, there was only... So when I watched this movie, I watched it in the afternoon and was by myself. And then somebody else came in with his 7-year-old kid. I wouldn't make that choice.
Yeah, what?
Again, stabbing. I just don't...
No,
see.
that's a bad deal there.
Yeah.
That's a bad deal there.
Yeah, so I was surprised.
Sorry, but I think your parenting choices need to be revisited.
That's right. Honey, why is our child playing with the knives? Nothing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not knowing anywhere where I was going with any of that. But I watched these films by myself. And again, I was more entertained than I thought it was going to be. And so I don't think this movie was bad. I thought it was, for me, again, it was a requel. It made fun of itself every time it could. I enjoyed it just as much as the first one, personally.
The question for me is, why was Kevin Williamson not involved in this one? He was involved in the other 4, wasn't he?
I have no idea.
I know the first 3 for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the first one not directed by Wes Craven because he passed away in 2015.
Right.
And one of the characters was named after him, Wes.
I don't... Yeah, right, exactly. That was a nice tribute.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Even though he got stabbed. Oh, spoiler.
Yeah.
Even though he got stabbed and killed.
I was so a lot of predictability for me in this, but I'm trying to think of so when all right, I don't want to be disrespectful, but Monica, also known as Courteney Cox, also known as Gail
Weathers,
who is not a weather person.
Not a meteorologist.
That's
right.
So she is I'm sorry, and the face work that she had done.
Her mouth is so big.
It's so different. It's so, I was totally what? Why?
Yeah.
Hey, look, she has to be herself,
right?
And do her thing, and I get that.
You do you.
But I just don't think that was much of a benefit to the way she looks. I don't know, and no disrespect.
Yeah.
But
it's a shock when you've seen her one way for so long, and then you see something like this, where obviously there was some changes being made, where it's just yep,
right.
You made some choices.
Yeah, and it just didn't make a lot of sense because I don't know. I can't see that she was aging terribly.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a good-looking lady. And
I agree.
It wasn't I was just shocked. Because my thing is I don't want to watch any trailers if I can avoid it.
Right.
And so she pops up on screen and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Just totally blown away by that. So surprises.
Yeah.
The surprises in this film for me were not quite what I was expecting. In other words, that was a surprise to me.
Right. Yeah.
But at any rate.
Did you know this movie was released on January 14th, which was 25 years and 25 days away from when the original was released.
It was 25 days, huh?
25 days.
Nice.
So I thought that was whoever does the scheduling looked at the calendar.
They sure did.
Which I thought was neat.
It's hard to believe for me that I'm that old.
You're that young.
That wise.
That's right. I thought it was fun that they got Roger Jackson back.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, I was
Ghostface.
wondering what they were gonna do there.
Yeah.
That was exciting for sure. Yeah. So like, I guess. Well, I don't know. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it. I don't think this one is going to be as. I just don't feel personally that there's a lot.
There's not a lot different.
Yeah,
it's a parallel film.
It is. It's like I was so disappointed. I was thinking that this would be a great reboot, and it's just like they just wanted the money, man.
Well, they could have easily twisted it. Like again, the thing I think the original did so well. I mean, again, you could kind of tell who the murderers were just because they were creepy as all get out. But like for this one, I mean, even like. So, spoiler, it was the crazy people who were the murderers, or Ghostface. You got the boyfriend character, Richie.
I suppose now I'm going to have to put in the little spoiler alert thing.
I did say spoiler.
I know.
I tried. I thought, so they did the throwback of, again, there's probably multiple things you could have caught to see who was the murderer, but I thought it was interesting. Again, it was basically a shot for shot because when Richie said, "I'll be right back," it was the same thing Stu did.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's like you could have written this over the weekend.
Yeah. Well, you get caught for plagiarizing. It's like those times where you have to like. Not that I really did not ever plagiarize. I joke around with things that I don't do.
Yeah.
It's almost going to be a Tyler segment of like, don't worry, guys, I've never actually murdered somebody. I never actually plagiarized, but like, where the teacher's like, well, you see this whole sentence is, you basically copied and pasted all these chunks. You maybe added a word here to make it your own, but it's still plagiarism.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was a sad deal. Full disclosure, I did fall asleep.
Did you?
I was just like there's just parts that I was like, I know what's going on.
Yeah. I see that. I really like the term requel, though.
Yeah.
I will be honest. So there's some terminology that they put in this film that I really did enjoy. And again, it was different from the first. Here's where they did something a little bit different than what they did with the first one, where first one you have rules of surviving a horror film.
Yeah.
So this one they did rules of doing a requel.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of fun. And so, again, trying to figure out who the murderers, well, these are what the rules of the requel are. They're going to bring in an old cast member, and I forget the full context, but then they go through. I just thought that was a lot of fun. Because, again, that's what requels do.
Right.
We just saw that with Ghostbusters.
Right.
We saw that with, I forget, we've seen quite a few movies, but they do that consistently of like, give us that one character that's like, oh man, we're so excited this character is back. Like, I don't even care what the rest of the movie is about. They brought this character back. We never thought this was going to happen.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, totally agree with that. This isn't to so the podcast isn't like to be critical of movies. It's just to talk about it. And I feel like I'm being too critical of the movie, as I think about it and things like that. I feel like it's just like I don't want to be critical of it. I just want to, you know what I mean? But there is something that I caught really quick, and so it was predictable. The one Ghostface, I got right away. Yeah. Honestly, spoiler: the boyfriend.
Yeah.
I knew right away.
He was such a he was such a weird character that got brought in.
But here's where they screwed up in the film. You ready?
Tell me about it.
And I noticed this when they were doing the live stream, the clone of the phone.
Yeah.
Right? Of, right at the beginning.
Right.
So they're, the friend Amber,
yep.
They're live streaming on the cloned phone,
yeah.
right? And then when the ghost face came in and stabbed the girl, there's stabbing in this movie.
There's even a movie called Stab within the movie.
Exactly.
And within that movie, just kidding.
So the boyfriend is in a very different city, quite a ways away.
Yeah.
But then there's the live stream.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the stabbing of the girl.
Right.
Big screw up.
Yeah.
You catch what I'm throwing down?
No.
Amber, the friend, who was being live streamed, would have had to been the one who did the stabbing because because the boyfriend was with the girlfriend in a whole different city.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
The other thing that they got screwed up was, in my opinion, is the height of Ghostface. The height of Ghostface was always tall. Amber was short.
Right.
And they only brought the short Ghostface in when we knew it was Amber.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
At least make it look obvious when they're doing, because we know there's two already.
Right. Yeah.
Don't make it the same actor.
Right.
In Ghostface.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So those are some of the things. That's the biggest thing that I was like disappointed in.
I will say the thing that I kind of enjoyed was the potential. So like when they did caller ID, obviously in the original was just unknown caller.
Mm-hmm.
I liked in this one they did potentially this person.
I know.
And so like I thought it was even funny with like people that you thought they would have had saved in their contacts were still potentially.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, do you just not save anyone into your phone?
Right.
Like my caller ID.
Well, I know people that are like that.
That's
they don't save many people.
Yeah.
Right.
But like my caller ID is not good enough to. I mean, sometimes just some people say potentially, but it doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
When it happens is when someone says, "Hey, this is Tyler."
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and stuff. Yeah.
And then your phone's like, "Oh, this could potentially be Tyler." Like,
right.
You're so smartphone.
Yeah. Hey, they should call him a smartphone. I know.
And then I kind of like the lock technology. There's another thing I enjoyed about this film was how they brought modern technology to be applicable in this film. Because the original, again, it was common that you just pick up an unknown caller. And so it was kind of cool that they did modern touches on this film.
Yeah.
That they didn't need to do, but they did, and it worked well.
Right. That tied into the original film.
Yeah, exactly.
There was some good things too. I'm not just trying to be critical for sure.
What I like about this film, I like satire. I like films that make fun of stereotypical tropes that happens in movies. So this one, again, did the same thing that the original Scream did. Again, I still don't have the best context of what horror films are. I watched this because we're reviewing it.
Yeah.
And I'm, again, glad that we did because there was a lot of things that I appreciated. And it felt like, for me, like a beginner step of like, oh, maybe we can go a little bit deeper in horror because I'm still laughing. I'm still enjoying myself. But all of a sudden, people get stabbed and I get scared. So, again, that was the balance that I was internally facing. And so I would still say horror is still not my cup of tea. But, again, this movie does a good job of... I loved when they were talking. They're breaking fourth walls constantly.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoyed that they did that and then they fully leaned into it because you can sometimes when people break the fourth wall, it can be awkward.
Yeah.
But they continue just breaking it and not caring. And another part, maybe this, we'll look at that in cinematography. So I gave it 3.9.
Okay. I gave it a 3.4.
Okay.
Like I said, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty tired. I'll at least give the film that.
Right.
But it was like there was so many minutes of like, whatever. I knew that was coming, and and things. So that was part of it too. Is like there's too many minutes of just too predictable. I didn't fall asleep.
People get killed so many times in just open space.
Yeah, it's just like and so I didn't fall asleep for like an hour of the film or anything like that. Yeah. That's not what I mean, but
a nice little cat nap.
Yeah, just a little
power nap.
Few minutes. Yeah. And so we're gonna talk about Sing 2, right?
Oh, we're gonna sing about it.
Well, I'm not. But that's one of those films that I guess it probably wouldn't matter how tired I was. I stayed awake for it. It was very. I love cartoons.
Your hands going and you're singing along.
Right. I mean, it's a good thing that the theater was full and I was down in front singing and dancing.
That's
to
right.
It, so somebody probably has a cell phone.
Get down in front.
Yeah, exactly.
No, join in.
I did the tap dance, but anyway, I digress. So, those are some of the things that it's like, right. Just, it wasn't entertaining enough.
Yeah.
There were some things that were good, in it that I thought, yeah. Anyway.
There was a lot of scenes, or at least when we're in Wesley's house, I really liked the scenes where they were building up, then they shut the door, release. And so it's going to go into the score again. But the way that they built up those scenes, again, they did longer shots of like your typical, we're zooming in. And it was later too, which is different. But they were zooming in. They did that 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Which maybe they did one too many, but I still really enjoyed. It's fun. Like, I was expecting like a dog to come out or something like. I think they could have done a little bit more. Yeah. Rather than just doing the same exact thing where there's absolutely nothing.
Right.
And then for them everybody dies. that's all. Spoiler.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And so when he's taking a shower and it's like the psycho scene of, I thought that was fun. But again, people die just straight up how in the world is there nobody else of just like, and then the police come in so casually.
Right.
It's not like do a search and rescue or like this person was just stabbed in open daylight. Are we not going to do like any patrols or anything?
Yes.
Did a lot of throwbacks to the original film, setting up scenes, which I thought was interesting. And then again, bringing technologies into the modern time with the caller ID, the locks and stuff, which I thought was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's so funny that nobody saves their numbers onto the phone. I was like, and there's definitely times where I do that at times, but like at the same point, the people that they would seem like pretty close friends.
Yeah, exactly.
You would want that number saved because how annoying would it be to just type in that to text somebody? You'd have to like type in the number. It's such a process. Totally. I don't got time for that.
Totally.
Anyway, cinematography, I gave it 4.3. I thought there was some fun stuff that they did with it.
Yeah. I gave it a 4.0.
Okay.
There was some, spots in it that I thought were... I don't like when they transition from day to night so quickly. Yeah. Like, it's like, okay, that to me is cinematography. Yeah. I mean, because it's like y'all should...
You can have like the horizon.
Right.
You can progress the day faster in the background.
Exactly. But when they're going from this scene to now, it should be a few minutes later, and it's so much darker.
And the asthma.
And and so right. Quick. So they could do something like whatever. They're on the phone with somebody, and you can see the sun going down in the horizon, like you say.
There's so many ways
something that it's like, okay, I get that it can get dark fairly fast, but it went from being like noon to midnight in a second. Yeah, it's like, I don't like that. No. But so 4.0 on it because they did a good job. I mean, there wasn't anything that was real bad, but yeah. Hey, tell us how much you love us, or at least Tyler,
or how much you're scared of us.
Well, that's
hopefully you're not scared of us.
Yeah, I'm not sure we want to go down that road, but we do appreciate you watching, listening, and rating us.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. See you next time.
Hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bells, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us. We appreciate it.
Life's too short to be uncomfortable, so make others uncomfortable and wear something from www.shinybrandproducts.com.